All right, welcome to our weekly show. As you guys know by now, we like to call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody that's watching. Thank you for watching the show. So it's our weekly show where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. This week we are headed to Santa Anita Racetrack in beautiful Arcadia, California, and the traditional start of the racing season. The pick four starts with race number 6. It finishes in race number 9. They are all stakes races. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. I've got Ray Torado, who joins us from Staten Island, New York.
How you doing, Rich? How's everything?
I'm doing
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah.
Merry Christmas,
And
Ray.
now
Happy
we get
Hanukkah.
we get to the racing now.
And each week he joins us from his home in Temecula, California. He is Joe English. Welcome, Joe.
How you doing, Rich? Good morning. Happy holidays. Hope everybody out there is happy and healthy and got everything you hoped for. And hopefully today's racing card will be the gift that you get the day after Christmas.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the day after Christmas is the best present of all. Gentlemen, it's opening day. We get a pair of grade 1s and a pair of grade 2s to get the year started right. We have seen some superstars the past few years at this track on opening day. For each of you, the question today is, which of today's starters is most likely to appear at next year's Breeders' Cup, which, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be held at Del Mar Racetrack? Ray, I'll give you that question first. Who do you think, out of the 4 races you saw today, who do you think is most likely to show up on Breeders' Cup Saturday or Friday, I guess, next year?
Next year, I would probably say Sharp Azteca. This horse has been running well and should continue to have a good season next year. And probably in the mile division somewhere.
Mr. English, same
7
question for you.
furlongs. One else.
Who do you think you might see at the Breeders' Cup next year, where hopefully the 3 broke guys will be together at Del Mar Racetrack?
Yes.
It's an interesting question. Not that I'm saying that this horse is my pick, but I'm going to go Lightstream today. I just think she's going to. I think she's going to. The racing calendar may set up good for her. She may end up in the Kentucky Oaks and maybe, hopefully, if we're lucky, the Breeders' Cup Distaff next year.
Awesome. All right. For those of you wondering, before I get into the action for today and things like that, I made a little bit of mistake last week. That's what I get for trying to broadcast our show at 5 o'clock in the morning. But this was the bobbleheaded doll that I had in mind last week for our Bobley Awards that we handed out. So this is Mr. Mike Smith. And for those of you who can see it, it's signed, it's autographed by Mr. Smith. And of course, this was from his most famous ride, or one of his most famous rides. This was Dead Yacht. This was our bobblehead doll that we passed out last week for all of our award winners. And back to Santa Anita. All right. Last week was Gulfstream Park, and we closed out our season the right way. We hit the pick 4 for $118. Congratulations to Mr. Torado, who, if I'm not mistaken, he also personally scored the Gulfstream Park pick 4 as well.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Good cash.
Nice job, Ray. All right. Time for a brief weather update from Arcadia, California. The forecast for Monday calls for a high of 62 with partly cloudy skies and a slight 10% chance of rain. We've had a lot of rain out here in California, but I do not think you're going to see it today. The humidity is at 43%. It looks like a very nice racing day out of California, although it will be a little chilly there in Santa Anita. There are a total of 9 races, 4 stakes on tap for Monday. For today, we are focused on the pick 4, beginning in race number 6 and concluding in race number 9. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. Shall we do it?
Let's do it.
Let's open the season the right way.
All right, here we go. Race number 6. Approximate post time is 5:31 p.m. Eastern. Folks, the pick 4 today is guaranteed at $1 million. All right. It is the San Simeon Stakes, a grade 3. Purse is $100,000 going 6.5 furlongs on the downhill turf. It is for 3-year-olds and upward. 14 starters, and your morning line favorite, a tepid morning line favorite at that, at 9-2, is in post number 12, Holy Loot, for trainer James Cassidy and ridden by Jamie Terrio. Joe, the favorite's in post number 12, the horse for the course is in post number 11, and the name play is in post number 8. Which way are you going in the San Simeon?
I was hoping you'd start this one with Ray, but this to me, this is about as wide open as it gets. When you start with the morning line favorite is going to pay double digits if the odds hold, and I can easily see this race going off with a 5-1 favorite. It was very hard to make heads or tails out of this race. On my personal pick 4, I would go 7 deep, but I would narrow it down to 4 for the show. You got to start with the favorite, Holy Loot. He's not my top choice. I really don't have. Normally I have enough conviction to make a top choice, but I couldn't really make a top choice in this race. It's just very wide open. Holy Loot ended up winning the faster division of the Eddie D 2 starts back. And he didn't run badly, getting beat only 3.5 lengths in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. He was 22-1 that day. He probably outran his odds. So you got to give him the benefit of the doubt here. He's the only one. There's only one other horse who's earned a triple-digit buyer speed figure over this course, and that's the 11 Betty's Bambino. Holy Loot's done it 4 times, so he does love the course. He's drawn well on the outside. The only question I have about him is that he seems to run 2 good ones and then not so much for a while. He's been kind of in and out of form, and he is at 6 years old, almost about to turn 7 on New Year's Day. I kind of wonder how many races are left in the tank for somebody like this. Again, 9-2 favorite, so you can't knock the price even though he's the favorite, but you have to include him in your ticket. My second choice, I don't want to say that I have a second choice. I did like Richard's Boy as well. He's got multiple wins on the course, 5 of 6 in the money on the course. He's going to be near the early lead, so he's going to avoid a lot of the traffic problems that others may face in this spot. He finally got through. He finished second 4 times in a row. He finally got through in that last race at Del Mar. He has a solid drill on the 21st, 5 furlong drill. Victor Espinoza, who I'm assuming had his choice between Stormy Liberal and Richard's Boy, who both run for Rockingham Ranch. Victor stayed with Richard's Boy. He's been on him 4 times in a row. So I think he's got to be included on your ticket. Again, one of my concerns about him is will the early pace be too fast? I'm not so sure. We'll see how it shakes out, but he's going to be on near the lead again. Will the pace be too fast, or will he? But at least he'll avoid the traffic problems, even if it is. My other 2 choices are a little longer in price, thankfully. I will go to the other Rockingham Ranch horse, Peter Miller's horse, Stormy Liberal. He's a 3-time winner over the course, and I got some. I had some stats from Formulator, and Peter Miller is 21%. With a 3.03 ROI in the 3rd start over the layoff over the past year. And with Norberto Arroyo, who's obviously not a bad backup jockey for him, 29% with a 3.24 ROI over the past year. So at 8-1, I would take that price. Again, multiple winner over the course. Concerned a little bit about the draw and the fact that he was beaten by one of the other runners in this race last time out. He will, but that was going over a distance of ground. And my 4th and last one for the show, I'm going to use the obviously angle from the Breeders' Cup and actually the Ohm angle. And he actually drew the same post as obviously that day. And that's the 2 Hobbits Hero. The Baltus Bejarano combination has been deadly, obviously. 5 of 14, 35% over the course over the past 2 years. 3 of those winners actually were cutting back from roots over the turf. So obviously this horse has a chance to do exactly that. He's a 10-time winner, and he actually won a race over this course back in March of 2014. My only concerns is he good enough to beat this field, and the fact that he drew inside. The fact that he has speed may overcome that. So, but at 15-1, I'm willing to take that chance. Again, I could go even deeper in this spot, but I need to leave some time for my other cohorts on the show. So in not necessarily in any order, because I couldn't make an order. It's 2, 3, 8, and 12 for me. Ray, could you make any more of a solid opinion in this race than I just did?
Well, I have 5 deep, so you're right. We could have gone 8, 9. I mean, this is a really wide open race. So just have to hope that one of the horses come in and we move on. Not in any order, of course, like you said. This race is so wide open. I'm just gonna start listing them. Get your pencils out there. 11 Betty's Bambino, win of the last 4 to 5. 5 of 6 on the turf course. I'm not concerned with the 20-month layoff. His horses seem to has run. Should fire here. Was able to win by open lengths at this distance. So that shows you that this horse has a good stamina for the distance, and to win by open lengths on turf is pretty difficult. Races. He's a Great Stakes winner, and Rosario Urton, solid 15%. I do like number 9. He will 6-1. He's just closing well in the optional claiming race. This is like our 3BG angle. Stepped up to a minor stake race here. Flavin Pratt and 19% on the turf he wins, and the right hand turn will help the outside post. Cuts back for the mile plus races, so it should be nice and fit here. I like your horse, Joe. Also, Richard's boy. His good sprinting speed to get a nice trip. This year, he's been wearing the bridesmaid 4 seconds in 6 races, but he may have gotten the confidence in his last race, as now he's back to stakes action. Espinosa's back on board. He's invited him 6 of his last 8 races. I also like number 5, Ohio. Ohio had trouble in his last in the Eddie D at this distance. Actually, it was a fast race, 111-1. That was pretty fast for the distance, and he's only beaten 3 lengths. I like to switch to Jordan Van Dyke. He may be better off sprinting than going long earlier this year, so they're back to sprinting. Then give him a shot here. And also the morning line favorite, number 12, Holy Loot. He might like the freshening and also class relief. Should contend here on the outside post. Nice mid race, good position. 5 of 10 in the exact on the turf course. The only knock is that Jamie Terrio is 7% and Cassie is 9% on the turf this year. But Holy Loot, he could get a good trip in. So those are my picks there. We have the 11, the 9, the 8, the 5, and 12. And Rich, there's a few left here. If not, we'll just click on the all button because it's a wide open race.
Yeah, no, and I think you guys have already covered it for me. Initially, I only went too deep in this race. As difficult as a race as it was, I stuck on the 12 Holy Loot, and obviously the nameplay. There's no way I was going to avoid a horse that's named Richard Boy. He might as well be standing up, waving his arms for me. And Joe knows I've got a feel for this horse anyway, so I've bet him a few times before.
Mm-hmm.
He's a specialist on the 6.5 furlong turf course. Joe already alluded to this. He's 5 for 6 on the turf course. The hill is the hill. I've heard him say this before, but the Santa Anita turf course is a very unique layout, and if you're good at it, you're good at it, which is one of the reasons that Betty's Bambino got a mention for me. That's the horse for course. We've won 5 out of 6 times. She's been gone for 2 years, or I shouldn't say that. He has been gone for 2 years. Betty's Bambino is a boy. For those of you who are watching, my PDF is not working very well here, so. And it looks like Betty Bambino actually might be back here. Peter Urton has working well in the morning, so be careful because that horse does love the turf course. But I only went the 2 deep initially, so I had 8-12, and then I kept looking at this race, and I kept looking at this race. This was one race that I kind of kept coming back to, and I have a feeling you don't see it a whole lot at Santa Anita like that, but I think with as much inside speed as you have here, Jimmy Bouncer can fly. This horse right here, Redham Racing, can absolutely move the pace up here. Joe already made mention of it, and in case you need any proof of it, Hobbit's Hero can really move his speed. Those two are going to come flying out of the inside post. You've got outside speed out here. You've got speed in the middle with Acceptance and Richard's Boy. In other words, you've got speed everywhere in this race, and they are going to come flying down that hill. I would be surprised, or I would not be surprised if we see something less than 21 in the first quarter for this one. And as a result, I settled on my top pick. Yes, I did have a top pick. And it's Joe, or Ray kind of mentioned it already. He's got the 3 broke guys angle, which is you're moving up in class from your last start. He comes from off the pace. He's got a pretty good trainer in Jerry Hollendorfer, and he's got Flavian Pratt aboard. The question last time was, will he? And today, I think that he will. He's won 2 in a row. As a matter of fact, he's just a nose away from winning 3 in a row. To show you where he was with that. He did get nailed by Hobbit's Hero back here in a race where Hobbit's Hero had the lead early on, all the way around, in a mile race. So here we are cutting back. And I'm going to put my top horse as the 9, and I'm going to put the 8 and the 12 as my 2 secondary picks. So you've got Rich with the 9, 8, and 12. You've got Ray with the 11, the 9, the 5, the 12, and the 8. And you've got Joe with the 12, the 8, the 3, and the 2. And we are off and running on our fifth floor already. Back to you guys.
Not going deep yet, huh?
Yeah, not going deep. And we are on to race number 7. And race number 7 is the La Brea Stakes. This is a grade 1. $300,000 for fillies, 3-year-olds. 3-year-olds only, excuse me. They're going 7 furlongs on the main track. 8 starters, and your morning line favorite is in post number 2. Light Struck, trained by Brian Lynch and ridden by Julien Leparoux, comes in as your 2-1 morning line favorite. There are shippers all over the top of the morning line. So we turn it over to our own East Coast invader, Ray Torado. Who do you like in La Brea?
Yeah, actually, the 2 shippers who are the favorites going out there to Santa Anita. I guess, this time of year, there's not too many like grade 1s and races in the East Coast and Midwest. So, it's good money. And, it could be, if you feel you got a good horse, it's worth the trip. So, I'm going to start with, actually, this race for me is probably a little more formful with the 2 favorites. I do like number 3, Feelings Lucky Charm. Undefeated, 5 for 5 in 1-turn sprints, winning by a total of 25 lengths. The only glitch in this horse was that mile 16 to the fairgrounds, 2 turns. Is probably just too far for this horse. So they're probably going to stay sprinting with this horse and, continue going short. The speed figures do tower the field. And just has to accumulate, it has to acclimate to the harder Santa Anita surface. And I think this horse will carry speed far. You got number 2, Lightstream, at 7 furlongs. It's 3 for 4. The 2 losses this horse has had have been in a powerful grade 1 test. And second to Paulo Queen. And also in the Mother Goose, 3rd to Off the Tracks at Lewis Bay. And she's looking for a first grade 1. She should be coming down the stretch. If anybody's going to pressure Philly's Lucky Charm and give her a good, early pace, then Lightstream will be coming at the end. As a mild pick, B pick, I would say, I would like number 7, Enola Gray. 2 for 2 over the track, so she's very familiar with the course. You're going to get a good price on this one. As you can see, back in the past, 1 to 9, 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 5. So today you're not going to get that. So if you are a fan of this horse, you'll get a price here. And it should be running as Cowbreds. And but I give this one a chance. You got Big Money Mike here on grade 1, so that whip will be flashing. Mike Smith shows up pretty well in these grade 1s. So those would be my choices: the 3 to 2, and underneath the 7 horse. So Joe, La Brea, grade 1, 300,000. These horses will be ready for the handicap division for next year. So.
Yeah, this is like you said, this race is a little bit more formful than the last for me. We ended up on the same top choice, Finley's Lucky Charm. I think it's just the speed of the speed. I think he's got the pace figures that shows that she's gonna be on top. And you mentioned she's undefeated in 1-turn sprints. And Brian Hernandez decides to forego a day at the fairgrounds or Gulfstream or wherever else he would have rode to ride this horse to come out. And to my understanding is that this is his only mount on the day. So he's given up whatever he would have made elsewhere to come out here. So obviously, to me, that's a vote of confidence for me. The only question I have is if somebody else does decide to go gung-ho early in this spot and take her on. The 7 furlong distance is not as kind. I know it is. It's okay to be on the lead at 7 furlongs at Santa Anita, but just the distance overall is kind of punishing. If for whatever reason you end up going 21 and 43, then you can see somebody like Lightstream sitting in the back, coming from the back, considering there's a bunch of other speed. She'll be the bird on the wire in this year's La Brea. So again, I'm going with Finley's Lucky Charm as the top choice. And I'm going to go to another horse underneath. I do like Lightstream a little. She's the only proven closer in the race. And 3 of her 4 lifetime wins are at Santa Anita. At 7 furlongs. And like Ray mentioned, she's placed in 2 grade ones. The only question I have is anybody going to pressure Finley's Lucky Charm enough to set it up for her late kick? But I'm going to give an underneath choice to the 4, Constellation, who got beat at 1-9, finished off the board and caused some ridiculous place prices in the Cicada earlier in the year at Belmont. Actually, Aqueduct, excuse me. But she won an easy race in the return off the layoff at Turf Paradise. And for a change, it looks like they tried to rate her a little bit, and I think that would suit her well. I think she'd be good to sit off of Finley's Lucky Charm and anybody else who tries to go with her early. And the workout pattern, the works are slower, almost as if they're trying to say, okay, we want you to work slow early and finish later, and maybe make her do that as opposed to going gun-ho early. She did place in 2 great stakes earlier this summer, or it may have been last summer. But I'm just concerned if she's this good, or can she rate successfully. But again, David Flores comes along with her for the ride. And Jerry Hollendorfer can't be underestimated, and she's 6-1 on the morning line. So again, my top choices in order are the 3, Finley's Lucky Charm, the 4, Constellation, and the 2, Lightstream. So I will now hand it over to Rich. Rich, are you going to go with anybody else other than Finley's Lucky Charm, or are you making this a 3 broke guys trifecta?
Yeah, no, I thought the 3 here. So 3 broke guys. It's the 3. It's Finley's Lucky Charm. The pace figures are actually what I liked on here, and like that. There's a plus 23 and a plus 15 down here at Fairgrounds, no less. Over here at Churchill, plus 2, plus 1. You guys saw me. I was taking a peek while Joe was talking there. You guys know I love to do this, right? So, not necessarily that wire to wire is the way to go in a 7 furlong race at Santa Anita, but you certainly want to be up there at the front. And I imagine Finley's Lucky Charm. Enola Gray would be the one horse that you would think that maybe could get up there. Just make sure you keep an eye on your pace figures. Enola Gray, Ray alluded to this. The horse is sensational. Has had a great record and like that, but these have all got that little S right next to it. So these have all been state bred races against Calbreds. And for those of us who know about Calbred racing out here and like that, this is really unusual. You do not usually see negatives and wins in Calbred racing and things like that. So this horse has won. I would imagine if you went back and looked at a lot of these 6 and 5 horse fields, that there's not just a whole lot of talent. These all swears and fantasies and chicaboos, they're not really the top races. Everqueen I do see in here that she finished front of with a solid horse, but not the best talent in the world. Obviously not the best speed and like that, and I just don't see Enola Gray being able to keep up with Finley's Lucky Charm that's being on the lead. If I was going to back it up, and I chose to back it up just because Lightstream is so accomplished, having won grade ones, and being the closer that's in there, so I went ahead and backed up with the 2 underneath. So I've got the 3 on top though, with the 2 underneath. I believe Ray went 3 and 2 on top with the 7 underneath, and Joe went in order 3 on top, 4, and the 2 underneath.
Indeed.
Okay.
I want to mention just one thing before we get to the 8th race, in case I see you. I know Rich has it on his screen. For anybody out there, Navy Him, who was the rail runner in the Malibu, has been scratched.
And you do know how much I like that horse. You and I saw him live with our own eyes last year, right after that.
He would have
number 1.
He would have made
Navy Him.
He would have made. He definitely would have been a pace factor in this race. There's no question about that.
He's a trier. All right, on to race number 8. This is the feature of the day. It's the Malibu Stakes. I like to say this is the last grade 1 of the year for 3-year-old horses in the United States. So it's a grade 1. The purse is $300,000. It's for 3-year-olds only. 10 starters, and your morning line favorite at 5-2 is in post number 2. Mind Your Biscuits, trained by Robert Falcone and written by Joel Rosario. Joe, the last 2 winners of this race are Shared Belief and Run Happy. You see any future stars of that status in today's race?
No.
Nah.
I don't. And it would have been, and maybe I would have had Dre Fong not come up with a fever earlier in the week and made it into this race, because I think he would have made this race a lot easier for us to handicap.
Yeah.
But is I just took a look and I actually decided to go with the horse that Ray mentioned earlier in the show about possibly being at the Breeders' Cup next year, the 7 Sharp Azteca. Lifetime best buyer speed figure off the layoff. So obviously there's a chance that he's a bounce candidate. But I usually like to take 3-year-olds at face value. When they improve, they hope, I'm hopeful that they won't bounce, but there's always that chance. Given that he's actually been out at Santa Anita long enough, he's actually worked twice over the track, so he's at least had a chance to acclimate. At 4 of 8 lifetime wins, 2 stake wins at elongated sprint distances. You can see the Pat Day Mile at a mile over at Churchill Downs, and the City of Laurel, the 7 furlong race at Laurel. Drew well to be outside of the other probably likely leader, which is Jazzy Times for the Baffert Barn. Again, my biggest concern is that he could regress. And of course, as Ray alluded to earlier, the difference between the tracks back east and the tracks out west is just the hardness of the surface. There may be some issue there as well. But he's 3-1, and I think if you get 3-1, that would be a nice touch. But he would be my top choice. I also like the other Florida Invader a little bit. The 9 Awesome Banner for Mark Cassidy and Julian Leperu, and he drew he drew perfectly. He's got enough speed that he's going to be close to the leaders, but he's going to be able to sit outside and make his move when he wants. I think Leperu is a pretty good judge of pace. Multiple wins at 7 furlongs, including the Grade 2 Swale and the Grade 3 Carryback at Gulfstream Park. Two of my concerns are the fact that this horse has not worked over the track at Santa Anita, and that the fact is that all of his wins have come at Gulfstream Park. So he may be somebody who's great at Gulfstream, but does not pick up his feet outside of Florida. We'll see today, but at 8-1, I'm going to take the chance. And I know I can't go without mentioning that Baffert guy. So he's going to be one of his horses is my third choice, the 4 10 Blessings. He's another one who's coming at us with the 3 broke guys angle, from a non-winners of 1 allowance race to a Grade 1. He's been working bullets even at 6 furlongs. He's got the home field advantage. Again, he's another one who could possibly bounce based on that last race. And also the question of class is, can this horse jump from a non-winners 1 allowance where he was there 3 times and then all of a sudden jump up and win a Grade 1? One of the good things is that he's 2 for 2 over the surface. But again, I'd like to take them at face value, so he's got to be included for me. So in order for me, the choices are Sharp Azteca, the 7, Awesome Banner, the 9, and 10 Blessings, the 4. I will mention Mind Your Biscuits. I just don't know that there's enough pace that to get this horse going, but the horse is classier coming out of the Breeders' Cup sprint, finishing 3rd behind Drifong in another short field. So if for whatever reason there is a pace meltdown, he'd be nice to have. I just don't like shippers coming in at 5, short price. Again, he's got class, but I'm not sure the pace really sets up for this one. So 7-9-4 for me. Ray, what do you think of Mind Your Biscuits? Do you think he's got enough? Do you think there'll be enough early speed to get it set up for his late kick?
Yeah, I think he'll be in the picture late. Actually, I agree with you. My top choice is Sharp Azteca. I'm still off of that Pat Day Mile, and he just opened up, and I think he knocked us out of the pick 4 that day. Right? And we were like, wow. So I still remember that. And this horse is good. He's stepping up to Grade 1 the company. He got good speed, stamina for the 1 turn. Actually, it's a 2 turn. 1 turn. And, Zayas makes a trip to California to ride him, so he's giving up his day also in Gulfstream. And so I'm having confidence for him. I do like Mind Your Biscuits on second choice. He was third in the Breeders' Cup sprint behind Drifong and Matt Statistic. The extra furlong will definitely help him make a run if there's a pace meltdown, like Joe said. The rail draw could be good or bad. He can save ground, but he also could hit traffic around the far turn. So, he'll have to decide Rosario have to decide whether to stay inside or swing wide if there's room. So it's a little that could be a little tricky good decision you have to make at that time. But that's what he gets paid for. So actually those are the only two I had on my ticket, 7 and a 2. Um, I do like your other horses, Joe. You mentioned them. But with the structure of the pick four, this race I'm kind of slimming down, so I'll go 7 and 2 and leave it for Rich. Rich, what you got to say about the Malibu?
All right, I'm coming back. Yeah, you guys knew that was going to come up. I can't, but we've got 3 Bafferts in this one, no less than with that. So Joe already touched on the one that I like the best, though. I decided to settle on 10 blessings. It's a little bit of 3 broke guys angle again. So he's stepping up. I'm not crazy about these horses that he beat, by the way. Distinctive B and Bollywood are not. This is not the top of the class out here in California. So, and I almost considered just putting all the Bafferts together and just going with 10 blessings. Jazzy Times, who earlier this year actually looked like he was going to be something of a star, actually right behind Dreyfong, Joe. They were talking about him in that same breath. And I don't know if you see here, there's Navy him right behind him in that one. But he kind of took the bit out in that last one. He was favored and got stomped on by St. Jobé back there at the very beginning of December. So I decided to go ahead and split my Bafferts. I know I've talked about that before. The other one that's in here is More Spirit, who we should all remember because he was not only on the Derby Trail, he was in the damn Derby. There's a Kentucky Derby for him. That was the last time we saw him, as a matter of fact. But I split my Bafferts. I went ahead and used the 4 as my top pick and backed it up with Sharp Azteca. So Sharp Azteca, we remember him from the Pat Day Mile. You have a bad taste in your mouth anytime a horse knocks you out of the pick 4. Which is exactly what he did that day. He's got early speed. He's got a nice post. Edgar Zayas, a solid jockey, and Jorge Navarro. I really gained a lot of respect while I've been hosting this show. Kind of picked up on him from Gulfstream, so he's a very, very good trainer. And as you see there, the horse has been in there. That's Tom's Ready that's in there, Fish Trap Road. He's been in there with all the best. Texas Chrome's in there, and he hits just as well as any of them like that. Strangely enough, this is the Malibu for 3-year-olds and like that. We're not seeing maybe the stars of California who are here. More Spirit and Bob Baffert's group here looks like he doesn't really have the best horses already. As Joe mentioned, Dreyfong's got a piece of stuff. I went 4-7, and I backed it up with the 2. I did not have the guts to toss out Mind Your Biscuits here, just in case something does happen. It's a 7 furlong race, as you saw. 81% of them come from the front, but I only put the 2 underneath, so I did not have them on my top line. 4-7, 2 underneath for Rich. 2 and 7 for Ray, and for Joe, I've got 7, 9, 4.
Yep. Yes, sir.
On to the finale.
The finale.
Race number 9. Actually, I really enjoyed this race these last few years, ever since they made that the finale on opening day. It's the Mathis Brothers Mile Stakes. They are going 1 mile on the turf. It's a grade 2. First is $200,000 for 3-year-olds only. 11 starters and your morning line favorite from post number 4, Conquest Enforcer, trained by Phil Diamato and ridden by Flavian Pratt. He's 7-2 on the morning line. Okay, the horses from Conquest Stables were sold in a Keeneland auction this last fall, and this one here went for a mere $785,000. Ray, are you buying in the opening day finale at Santa Anita?
Well, that's my horse. Number 4, Conquest Enforcer. Yeah, like stretching out off a mile, Woodbine, sprints, stretching out to a mile. I'm sorry, off of the sprints, and the layoff helped him. Picks up Pratt. He'll probably sit mid-pack, pounce on the top of the lane. D'Amato got the horse from Cassie, like you said, from the sale. And, they're looking to make money here. So, it's a good horse. He's very consistent, been in money the last 6 times, 4 wins, 2 seconds. And, been running in the grade 2s over there in the sprint. So, an extra furlong shouldn't hurt this horse. Depends on the pace. And, Pratt's a good jockey. So, that'll be my pick. I do like number 3, Moonlight Drive. 2 for 2 on the course. You get that magical trainer, Bob Baffert. 27% for the year. Had a strong race at the mile in February over the course. in the high claiming race of 8,000. He won again down the hill, so he kind of likes the atmosphere over there. And he steps up here with Bejarano, who stays aboard for the third time. And this horse, they tried him mile and eight, Del Mar Derby, and a little too far for this horse. So they're gonna cut back to a mile and take their chances. Um, I also like for a little long shot is the Marcassi horse, number 9, Blackout, 12-1. He had a wide trip in the Commonwealth, and he's working well. First time since Anita. He's got Le Peru, who's 19% on the turf. And this horse, will be running. Last time just went wide, and 6 pad they say, and he only got beat by 3 lengths. So this horse should be in the picture. He can get a nice trip on the outside. So those would be my horses: the 4, the 3, and the 9. And Joe, what you got to say about the Matters race? Matters Brothers, the finale.
It's funny because
super high five.
Yeah, it's funny. You were narrowing in other races, and I decided, well, I'm going to go deeper in early races and try to get to this point, and I'm going to narrow in this spot. And I've settled on 2 horses, and the 4 is one of them. And I don't need to mention anything other than I was listening to the DRF podcast about today's card at Santa Anita, and John Kinchin is dying to bet this horse. He actually is going to be at Santa Anita today. He's going to be the paddock guest of Tom Quigley at about 11:20 or is it 10:45 this morning? Something. It's before the races start, and he's here. He was here. He's coming here, and he wants to bet this horse. He thinks this horse is the bee's knees. It's everything for him. But I couldn't go that low. I had to go too deep. The horse I actually like the most is the 8, Frank Conversation. He's got 2 graded wins, 1 over dirt, 1 over turf, 1 over synthetic, and he's got 2 strong races, so he's in really good form. My only concern is that he's a little bit of a closer, and he's got to cut back into this race. And there's some pace in the race, but I don't expect the pace to be wicked enough. So again, he's just the informed horse. So I just wanted to go too deep here with the 8, Frank Conversation, and the 4, Conquest Enforcer. I will mention one other horse, and that's the 1, Mittersill. He's going to probably get a ground saving trip. Joel Rosario is out to ride. He's got a nice drill at Santa Anita. He's going to need to work out a trip as well. Again, he's another one of the closers, but because he gets the ground saving trip, I think he's got a chance to win this race. Flavian Pratt obviously goes elsewhere, but Joel Rosario is not a bad choice. Horse has a bit of second-itis, finished second 5 times out of 8. But he's really strictly an underneath play for me. I would just go 8-4 in this spot and narrow my ticket at that point. So too deep for me. Rich?
All right, gentlemen. In the finale here, and I like Conquest Express. I did enjoy that horse. I couldn't help but note the $785,000 price tag. But Conquest Stable was broken up this past November, so that was why I alluded to that. Mm-hmm. And hearing Jonathan Kinchin likes him, puts me even that much more on. Phil D'Amato, Flavian Pratt. I mean, nothing wrong there. And again, you get first start with trainer Phil D'Amato, 17%. Horse has been working like a gangbuster here at Santa Anita, so he looks like he's ready to go. And he's a speed type, so he's early speed. As I seem to recall, this past year, that early speed on the Santa Anita turf, actually anywhere here on the Southern California turf, played very well. So I did like Conquest Enforcer. My second choice didn't get mentioned by anybody else, so unfortunately we're gonna have a little bit of an expanded ticket. I like Blackjack Cat, Mark Glatt and Mike Smith. This horse here, another speed type, another early, lead on the lead, I should say. Cutting back, going back to a mile, off of a mile in an 8th race. As you see here in the Twilight Derby, actually had the Twilight Derby. It looked like it was sealed up before Frank Conversation just comes running like a steamroller to go ahead and take it. That's Free Rose that finishes second, and Blackjack Cat that's third. Comes back out of that, steps up to the Hollywood Derby level, and again, coming into the straight in the last 2 races, this horse has the win. Finishes 3.5 lengths off on this one, and again, it's a mile and an 8th race. So you're taking off, a good 220 yards off of this horse's workload today. When you go back here in July, back at Del Mar in this allowance race, Blackjack Cat got Hobbit's Hero. That's Free Rose that he beats there. Free Rose comes back to win the Del Mar Derby in the next race. So Blackjack Cat is a very solid one. I went ahead and put the 2 up there as my top horse pick, and backed it up with the 4, Conquest Enforcer. If I had money, if I had a little bit of extra cash, and I could have gone 3 deep, I probably would have gone with Frank Conversation as well, since they kind of have hit each other in a couple of these last 2 races. Being the closer, I decided to go ahead and stay with the speed for the Conquest of Trust. Looking at the weather today, it looks like it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be dry. I think the turf course is going to be hard, so I think it's going to play to that early speed. So I went 2-4 over 8. Ray is 4, 3, and 9, and Joe is on the 8 and the 4. And that's going to bring us to a conclusion and time for us to go ahead and build our pick 4 ticket.
Here we go.
This one's going to be interesting. But the question is, how deep do we go in race 1?
Let's make a good ticket.
First pick 4 of the year, gentlemen.
Let's do it.
Additional opening day.
We can spend. Let's.
Those of you who have been with us throughout much of the year and things like that, this is our first opening day together because the 3 Broke Guys went on the air for the very first time last February. So we actually picked it up during last year's, very beginning actually of the Derby stretch last year. We got, we went through everything as far as the Derby was concerned, all the way up to the Breeders' Cup, and now we're going to spend an entire year together. So I'm really looking forward to it.
New year.
Hi,
We're gonna lose some horses. We're gonna pick up some horses.
They can't hear you, but Denise is behind me. She just said hello.
Hello.
Hi, Denise. Merry Christmas. Happy Christmas.
Denise, Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Well, for me out here, this is the only track that I'll be betting today. So.
My wife is going to the other. She's doing the other day after Christmas tradition, which is shopping.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, big sales. Return the stuff you didn't like.
That's her favorite after Christmas tradition or Hanukkah tradition. My obviously my favorite is Santa Anita, but she has hers.
Yeah, no, mine is definitely Santa Anita.
I got mine next week. My tradition. New Year's Day at Aqueduct. New Year's Day at Aqueduct.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The Interborough. 6 furlongs on 6 furlongs for older fillies and mares on the inner dirt. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
See if you see John Conti there, tell him we said hello. Actually, I want to bring that up. That's been cool. I'm so glad that the Esquire Network actually made horse players available on demand. I've been actually reliving it, watching. I think I've watched the first 5 episodes.
Okay, so that's what it is. It's the episodes that you and I watched a couple years ago. Then is what they're replaying, Joe. Yeah,
they're available on demand. So you can just find the Esquire Network on your Actually, you probably just search by horse players, and the whole season's available to you. So it's kind of cool to relive that, going back 3 years.
I really enjoyed it. I remember you and I used to get together and watch that together.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Like I said, I'm reliving it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I watch it also. I'd like to watch it again too. That'd be nice.
Yeah, no, it's. Yeah, no, it's just watching the Rotundas and Lee Davis smash their programs together in unison at the same time. It's just classic. It's just beautiful.
Oh yeah.
It's something that if you're a horse player, you know you've done, you can appreciate. It's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my.
Okay, I think we have to narrow. Just a little.
All right. So in the first race, I'm looking for some trying to see if I can find any consensuses here. I see that.
Calculator.
Well, you know, but ironically, Rich, I mentioned 4 horses. The other 3 horses that I didn't mention are the 3 horses that are on the ticket.
No, they somehow made it back in.
Yeah, big surprise, really.
All right, so let's see. The 8 and the 12 I see on Joe's ticket, and I see the 8 and the 12 on Ray's ticket, and I see the 8 and the 12 underneath on my ticket. So I imagine the 8 and the 12 are in on this one. I see the 2 and the 3 are on Joe's ticket, and that would be it. So you've only got the 2 and the 3 is yours, Joe. Ray's got the 5 and the 9, so I guess the 9 goes in because the 9 was the top one on mine.
Yeah.
All right, I'll start by saying we could take that awesome banner in the Malibu. Take the 9 out in the Malibu. The only reason because I was the only one who mentioned him, so I would be willing to take him out.
And the 12 is Holy Boot, and the 8 is Richard's Boy, so they're both in. And the 9 is on Ray's ticket and my ticket, so the 9 goes in. And let's see. Oh, the 12 is on both of your tickets. So the 12 is that's in. That's Holy Boot.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got decisions on the 2, the 3, the 5, and the 11 here for the 2 of you. 2, 3, 5, 11 on that one.
And Rich, you can take out Constellation in the La Brea, the 4, since I was the only one who mentioned him as well, or her.
That's here.
And maybe a Nola Gray too. Nola Gray, I think I already mentioned her. Anybody else mention her?
And that's the 7.
Rich mentioned her. I don't know if Rich was making her one of his picks, but I know he mentioned her in the discussion.
I think I actually left her out. I did some analysis. I was trying to see a way to get her in.
Yeah.
Okay, so
7, 14, 42.
Okay, that's still $105, guys.
105, yeah.
Too big. All right.
Yeah.
So,
that's called a parlay from last week. Roll it over.
Yeah, let it ride, right?
Let it ride.
Yeah, basically.
Race 8. You've got the 2, the 4, and the 7. I have the 4 and the 7 on my top line. Ray has the 2 and the 7 on his top line. And Joe, you've got the 7 and the 4, and you also have the 9 on your top line.
Yeah, that's why I said take the 9 out.
So
yeah.
Okay. And then the finale. Okay, and then in the finale, I've got the 2 and the 4 on the top line. So the 2 is the only one that's going to be off on here.
Right.
That's 105, Ray. That's. I mean, for me, I don't have a problem doing this ticket. But I'm not. I mean, Rich, is 105 too steep for you?
Which one is it? With those 4?
No, if we do this ticket as it is on.
The 9. I mentioned the 9.
Okay, wait a minute,
Nobody else mentioned the 9. Blackout. I don't know if. I mean, he's a good price.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me. I'm trying to redo it. It's
7 to 14, 42.
It's 160.
So
it's actually 80. 168. It's 80. It's 84. It's 84. It's 84 as it is right now. 7 by 2 by 3 by 4. Can we narrow any in the 6th race? Even one horse?
Let's see.
Yeah, I know. I was the only one who mentioned Hobbit's Hero and Stormy Liberal.
Oh, Ohio. I only mentioned Ohio, right? I was the only one.
On the
5.
Yep.
So he's my 4th choice. So.
Yeah, he would, like I said, he was one of my underneath, and I did watch the race, and the horse did have significant trouble in that last race, and he's another one that John Kinchin likes.
Right.
In this spot.
Okay.
He likes him a bit. So again, I can. Boy, like I said, this race is just that difficult.
Yeah.
It is.
And you got
I don't know.
Anyway, so. Is that going 7 deep? Yeah, 2 to 1 horse. So.
Well, that's the thing. You're going 7 deep, and like I said, I have a feeling the favorite's still going to be. I think the 9 to 2, 5 to 1 is still legitimate.
Sure,
I think it's still going to be. It's that wide open that pretty much anybody who wins. I can't see anybody being bet down to 3 to 1.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Or 5 to 2. I mean, unless Kinchin has that much power when he gives the horse out in the seminar in the morning, and people just bet the 5. I can't see it. I see 9 to 2 as a minimum. again, I'd still like to narrow a little. I mean, again, if we want to take Hobbit's Hero out, I'm fine with it. But like I said, if I happen to end up at Paris or Del Mar, he'll definitely be on my ticket. But again, for the group, I'm willing to toss the 15-1 shot.
Yeah, and the other thing I thought, I mean, I've actually bet that horse quite a number of times. What that is that he's the speed and he's stuck on the inside with a lot of other speed, and that's I wasn't sure if he was fast enough to run that ball into the ground.
And normally, Rich, I would agree with you, but I also remember what obviously happened to do on the turf. Now, he's not obviously, but obviously was in the same situation with pure sensation on the inside. Mongolian Saturday outside, and he just ran them both into the ground in one race anyway.
Yeah, I think he's faster.
Oh no, obviously is faster. I don't think there's any question about that. So I mean, like I said, if we want to take the two off the ticket, that's fine. I have no problem doing it. I'll leave it up to you guys.
So make it.
Yeah.
72.
And what's funny is, I mean, I know it's one of Rich loves the Baltus and Bejarano combination too, and that's the thing. It's like, okay, we're kicking off a 15-1 shot with one of the best jockey trainer combos in the country, and definitely at the track. But
I
know we have to narrow. We have to narrow at some point. We can't. I mean, I could do the $84 ticket. That would not bother me. But
well,
this is now what's.
That's why the difference is only $12.
Yeah, $12.
So is it so it's 72 this way? 6 by 2.
72. Yeah.
Okay, 6 by 2. Okay, yeah, you're right. It would be either 84 or 72. Again, like I said, I could do either way. I could leave it up to you guys, or we could just do the ticket as is.
Well, this one is 80. Was it 84?
Yeah.
Any objections, gentlemen?
I would hate to throw them out. Yeah.
Okay. No. Yeah.
I'm the type I'd rather leave them in.
All right.
I'd rather leave the favorite off and keep the 15-1 shot in. Yeah. But again, you're talking in a race. You're talking in this race, the favorite being 9-2. I mean, it's not like we're leaving. It's not like we're kicking the 2-1 favorite off for a 15-1 shot.
So we go 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 11, 12 with 2, 3 with 2, 4, 7 with 3, 4, 8, 9 for an $84 Pick 4 ticket, and what is, I believe, the biggest Three Broke Guys ticket so far today.
The biggest one we've put in, I think.
The pool is what, $1 million, so you know.
The guarantee is $1 million. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's going over that because it's the only track open today.
Well, no. Well, I know Fairgrounds is open. I don't know about Gulfstream though, but I know Fairgrounds is open. But it's yeah. But there are very few tracks open, and this is the best racing in the country.
It'll get the money
today for sure.
All right, let's go back to you guys. Have you got that ticket down, Joe?
Yeah, I have it.
All right.
All good.
All right.
For those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, we are going to be back next week because the season is just getting started, as you heard, and we are actually getting right into the prime part of racing season. So hopefully you will see the Three Broke Guys racing or handicapping each and every week as we get together and take a look at another exciting card from around the country. We do not have next week's card picked out just yet, but we will get that information out to you. Gentlemen, that's all the time we've got for today. It's always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
Yes, always a pleasure.
It's fun. Always a great time.
Love it. Fun.
For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and have a good day.
So long.
Take care. Good luck.